Let's talk about body count again because I keep seeing these videos on YouTube about men concerned with body count. Um, this concern with body count is a relatively new phenomenon as far as my understanding goes of human sexuality. Um, Throughout time when we lived in tribes, everybody had a high body count. People lived in tribes and they were having sex with all the other people in their tribes. In fact, no one knew who the father of any of the children were. The competition for women wasn't done on the basis of resources at that time, it was done on the level of sperm competition. So, maybe not all the men had sex with the women. I don't know what process they went through, but it is said that only 40% of the men were fathers. The other ones, either they didn't have sex with any of the intercourse with the women or their sperm was just too weak. Um, in early human history, um, fertilization happened on the level of the sperm. It was sperm competition. So a woman would have intercourse with many men in her tribe, but only the strongest sperm would fertilize the egg. Okay? And therefore, only 40% of the men were fathers, whereas every woman was a mother, unless she was infertile or something. This all changed during the agricultural age. Oh, and I want to say this. Everybody raised all the children. Like, there wasn't like, no mom would say, this is my child. I'm only raising my child. All the men and all the women raised all of the children. It was just a time of great cooperation, and that was needed to survive. You had to be cooperative like that. This all changed with the agricultural age when men started owning property, including women. Women were property, and men were saying, well, I'm going to give my resources to you. I want to make sure that this is my child. And that made sense because it's better for children to have two parents. And this all made a lot of sense that women would wait until they had a man lined up before they had intercourse so that the child would have two parents and a father. So that's how things went along, and I think that's when religion also came along later and saying virgins are prized. And I think that had to do not with the fact of virginity itself, because before the agricultural age, virginity wasn't prized. It was more to do with we want to make sure that men show up for the women that they're impregnating. We want to make sure that every child has two parents. It's basically what they were saying. And at that time, people got married very young, like in their teens. In some areas of the world, girls are still getting married in their teens to very old men. But when you get married in your teens, these girls are getting married before they even have a sex drive. Right? Like, I started masturbating when I was 14, 15, 16, something like that. But the first time I ever felt horny for a man, it was in my heart. First time I ever felt physically horny for a man, I was in my 20s. So I think that for women, our sex drive isn't as strong. So it's easy to wait till you're 20 to have sex, unless you're in love with some guy, and then that will make you want to have sex with him. But it's because we're in love with that guy. It starts in our hearts. At least it did for me, and I think it does for a lot of women. Now, fast forward to the 60s, now we have birth control. We have the feminist movement, and women are working. So now that women could control their reproductive age, they're no longer having children at 20. They can wait to have children, they can wait to get married, and now you're asking a woman to not have sex when she has a libido for over 10 years, which is pretty unrealistic. As women are waiting to get married till they're older, more established in their careers and so on, they don't have to get married. They can avoid pregnancy, And it's pretty rare now to find a woman who is not sexually active before marriage if she's in her 20s. It's pretty rare. Now, why do men have a problem with this? That's what baffles me. Why do men have a problem with this? Because men will say, that's just the nature of men. We want to know, we care about this because we're men and that's in our nature. That's not true, because it's in your nature to, it's in our nature that women are polygamous, have sex with a lot of men, and the healthiest sperm wins, and everyone in the tribe raises the children. That's in our nature. So there's something else at play here. There's some kind of fear. There's some kind of insecurity, and that may have to do with the fact that so many women have taken power away from men. I think that this is probably the last area where men feel any sense of power, is what I'm thinking as I'm making this video, because they don't have they don't have power over the children. The woman decides if she keeps the baby. The woman decides if she's going to sue you for paternity, if she's going to divorce you. The divorce courts give her half the money. Your employer doesn't pay you like he used to. Men are not appreciated as they were. So the last bastion of male power comes from, I own my woman. Only I have had her body. That is a man backed into a corner who feels he has no power over women. He has no say. He's completely silenced. And the only power he has is choosing this one girl who wanted no man and said no to every man except to him. And it's kind of a fairy tale, kind of like the woman who wants the alpha guy. Like, we all want the freaking alpha guy that everybody wants, and he fucks all these women, but we get him. At least I kind of have that fantasy. And I think some men have the fantasy of the good girl. She's a lady in the streets, she's a virgin, and no man can have her. She resists them all. But I'm so irresistible. I unleash her sexuality. She wants only me. Only me. I'm the special one. It's a little bit narcissistic. It's fear-based and it's narcissistic, in my opinion, to be worried about body count. And also, I think it has to do with not understanding women. I personally don't think that men should go out with women who are actively looking for male validation and attention, flaunting their bodies in public or on social media. And women who are just very aggressive and combative, and a lot of makeup, a lot of fake breasts, a lot of long nails, and all that fakey phony stuff. I would stay away from all of that, personally. But yeah, if you definitely want to have a virgin, I don't even know if going to Saudi Arabia would help, because I hear those women just take it in the ass so that they can say they're virgins. They haven't had anything in their vagina. They're just taking it in the ass. Because what kind of woman isn't going to want to have sex? Your storybook girl that wants no sex before you doesn't exist. She either wants sex or she doesn't want sex. And if she's still a virgin at 28, she's probably asexual. You're not going to have any sex with her, or sexually traumatized, and you're not going to have sex with her. This dream of the wonderful girl that no one had but I get to have is a myth, like Prince Charming. If you're that obsessed with body count, I'm curious why. Don't say it's male genetics. It isn't. It's a new social construct, I think, based on insecurity and fear and narcissistic control. I'm curious about it, though. But if that's what you want, I really think you need to be in a religious community and marry a religious girl by the time she's in her early 20s. If you go to a foreign country and bring a girl over, you know, she probably took it in the ass. She might still have never had it in her vagina. And then you get her over here and she's Americanized, and now she's going to be like, oh my God, I've been missing out. I want to try these other dicks. I want to be free like American women, so be careful. And then she's going to miss her family too. If you want a girl with a low body count, you've got to get someone, marry someone before the age of 22. But even then, she might get mature and be like, what have I been missing? I've only been with this one guy. Maybe later she'll decide she's really gay. I think it's better to get with a woman who already knows herself and who is sweet and submissive in her 30s, like not super aggressive. But hey, you guys drop your thoughts. I'm interested in what you have to say about it. And thanks for watching my video.